There's a moment most people never really notice, even though it happens almost every day. It doesn't happen during something big. It happens in the smallest gaps of your life. You're standing in front of something simple. A coffee shop menu with too many similar options. A message you've rewritten 3 times, but haven't sent yet. An email draft sitting there with a blinking cursor at the end of a sentence. 2 nearly identical products on a shelf under bright fluorescent lights. Nothing is actually wrong, but your mind doesn't feel settled. You pick one option, then immediately question it. You switch it back, then you switch it again, and suddenly, something that should have taken seconds has been sitting with you for minutes. Not because you're confused, but because it feels like something is on the line that you can't fully name. And then it happens. A thought slips in quietly. Why is this so hard for me? But the truth is, it never felt small to your mind. It felt loaded, like a single choice could echo further than it actually will. Most people assume overthinking is about indecision, but it's not. It starts with something much quieter. Pressure, not the obvious kind, not deadlines or urgency, but the invisible pressure of needing to get things right, without fully knowing what right even means anymore. At some point, your mind stops treating decisions as neutral. It begins treating them as signals, not just, what do I want? But underneath that question, what does this say about me? What if I regret this later? What if this version of me was wrong? And once those questions enter the room, even the smallest decision starts to feel heavier than it is. Imagine someone sitting in their car outside a restaurant. They already checked the menu earlier. They already know what they want, but they're still not getting out. Because the decision is no longer about food, it becomes a mental simulation. What if it tastes worse than expected? What if they waste money? What if they should have chosen differently? What if someone else would have picked better? So they sit there longer than they intended, not because they don't know, but because their mind is trying to predict every possible outcome before anything even happens. That's where overthinking lives. Not in confusion, in simulation. Your brain is built to do this. Psychologically, it's a prediction system. It's always trying to anticipate outcomes before they arrive. In healthy form, this helps you plan, adapt, and stay safe. But when it becomes overactive, it stops distinguishing between real danger and uncertainty. So instead of asking, what do I prefer? It quietly shifts into, what is the safest choice I won't regret later? And those 2 questions create completely different emotional worlds. One is based on experience, the other is based on protection. This pattern often doesn't start in adulthood. It starts much earlier, in moments that didn't feel significant at the time, being corrected quickly after choosing something wrong, noticing someone's expression change after a decision you thought was fine, feeling a small pause in the room after you said or picked something unexpected. Nothing dramatic, just repeated enough times for your mind to notice. Choices carry consequences you can't always see immediately, so your brain adapted. It slowed decisions down. It started reviewing them. It started running invisible simulations before allowing action. At the time, this was helpful. It kept you careful. It kept you aware. But now, it doesn't turn off. So a simple message starts to feel like editing something permanent. A coffee order feels like choosing a timeline you can't undo. A small preference starts feeling like a reflection of identity. Overthinking isn't just fear of being wrong, it's also responsibility. Not actual responsibility, but perceived responsibility. As if every small choice carries hidden weight. As if a slightly imperfect decision might change how you are seen, remembered, or understood. So your mind does extra work. It rechecks, it replays, it imagines conversations that haven't happened yet. And the more it does this, the more it learns. This must be important. Otherwise, why are we still thinking about it? So even neutral decisions begin to feel emotionally charged. There's another subtle shift that happens over time. You start losing trust in your first instinct. At first, you knew what you wanted quickly, but after enough second guessing, that first signal starts to feel unreliable. So you wait for confirmation from thought instead of experience. And slowly, decisions stop feeling like expression. They start feeling like evaluation, not what do I want, but is this correct? Think about sending a simple message, a sentence that should take seconds, but instead, your attention gets pulled into loops. Does this sound too direct? Should I soften it? What if they interpret it differently? What if I should add something else? The message barely changes, but your experience of it stretches. Time expands inside your mind, and when you finally send it, there's relief, not because it felt right, but because the mental tension finally stopped. Here's the quiet truth most people miss. Overthinking does not improve decisions. It improves the feeling of preparation. But preparation without limits turns into hesitation, and hesitation repeated often enough starts to feel like identity. I'm just someone who overthinks, but that is not identity. It is a strategy your mind learned, and strategies can be updated, because what your mind is actually trying to do is not make perfect decisions. It's trying to avoid regret entirely, but regret is not something you can eliminate. It is something you learn to carry. And interestingly, when people look back at decisions they overthought, something becomes clear. Most feared outcomes never actually happened, and even when something wasn't perfect, life adjusted. You adjusted. Faster than your mind predicted, because real life is more forgiving than internal simulation. Your thoughts create scenarios. Life creates outcomes, and those two rarely match. There's a deeper shift that begins when you start noticing this. You realize overthinking is not intelligence, it's not caution, it's not carefulness. It is your mind trying to protect you from uncertainty that feels too unresolved. But uncertainty itself is not danger, it is just unknown information. And the brain dislikes unknowns more than it dislikes reality. So the question slowly changes, not, how do I make better decisions? But, why does this decision need to feel perfectly safe before I allow myself to move? And that question changes everything. Imagine sitting on a park bench in a quiet afternoon. People walking past, leaves moving slightly in the air, cars passing in the distance without urgency, and in your mind, a small decision appears. The same kind you usually overanalyze. But this time, something is different. The thoughts still appear, but they don't take over the entire moment, because you begin to notice something important. The decision is not larger than it is. It is just a decision, not a prediction of your worth, not a test of your intelligence, not a forecast of your future. Just a moment where you choose something and move forward, and slowly, something begins to soften. You stop trying to solve every outcome in advance. You stop treating every small choice like a turning point. You'll stop waiting for complete certainty before action, because clarity was never meant to come before movement. In most cases, clarity comes after. You only understand your choices once you've lived them, not before, not in simulation, but in experience. So the next time you find yourself stuck inside a simple decision, caught in loops that feel bigger than the moment itself, you don't need to force clarity. You don't need to silence your thoughts. You don't need to get it perfect. You can simply notice what your mind is doing. It is trying to predict safety. even when the situation does not require it. And in that small awareness, something quietly shifts. The decision becomes smaller again, not because your thoughts disappear, but because they no longer define the moment. You were never stuck because you couldn't decide. You were stuck because your mind was trying to protect you from uncertainty by turning every choice into something larger than it is. But once you see that clearly, you stop treating every thought as an instruction, and you begin to experience something lighter, not perfect certainty, just movement without pressure. And sometimes, that is all clarity ever really is.